Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out in the Times, December 28th, 2018. This is a short article, but very significant, especially when it comes down to the low birth rate stories that I have been doing over the past few weeks. China just published some new numbers, which shows a bigger steep than they anticipated in their population. Birth rate slumps again as China faces new population crisis. Wow. So China ended its one-child policy in 2015 after it being in place for nearly 40 years. But it is very late in the game for them to do that. Now they have a two-child policy, and in some cases, I even read where they're even possibly allowing people to have three kids, but they waited way too late to do this. How do you do this when you have such an imbalance between men and women? And a lot of the women said they don't even want to have children. So how do you get out? You won't be able to get out of this at all. China is facing an alarming slump in its birth rate despite the government's effort to boost population growth since the end of its one-child policy. The number of births is expected to have fallen sharply from 17 million in 2017 to perhaps only 14 million this year. Wow. They went from 17 million to 14 million in 1 year. According to demographers, the figure would respond to a birth rate of 10 per 1,000 population. The global average is 18.5 per 1,000. So you can see China is well below that 18.5. 18.5 per 1,000 is the global average, and they are at 10 per 1,000. That is significant. The forecasts add to a growing sense of crisis as China grapples with the consequences of decades spent trying to curb its population. The one-child rule, introduced in 1979, ended 3 years ago, and a two-child policy was adopted in 2016. Officials called for as many as 20 million babies to be born this year, which they are not going to see that amount, not with the population imbalance they have now. Remember that people were aborting the girls and keeping the boys. So projected rise in China's over 60s. All right, so that means they have a big aging population and a younger population that can't replace them as they die out. So it's just showing you a projection in this chart right here. And believe me, that's all it is a projection, because it's just no way. How do you make up for 40 years of not really being able to grow families? And China is one place where abortions are still out of control. They say a lot of people are secretly still trying to find out if they're going to have a boy or girl. And of course, if it's a girl, they're aborting it. They said that stuff is still going on. They're just going, in the background and doing it, where they blatantly did it out in the open before, but it's still happening. So that being said, that means you're going to have another generation of mostly males and hardly no females if it's still going on. But hey, this is self-inflicted, China. You did this to yourself. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.